Welcome to Visualize, the podcast where collaboration fuels change. I'm your host, Chris Baker, and each week we'll explore incredible connections between nonprofits, businesses, and the community. This is a space where we highlight inspiring partnerships, uncover strategies for creating meaningful impact, and share stories that show how working together can make all the difference. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, a business owner, or someone just passionate about building connections, this podcast is for you. Welcome back to another episode of Visualize. Today I have Joan Godoy from Radical Partners. Welcome, Joan.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure for you to be here. Thank you so much for driving up here from Miami.
I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but I will say it was a perseverance test. So I'm really glad to be here. Yes.
I am so grateful to have you here. I love inviting nonprofits to the show. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey into the nonprofit sector? Like, how did you get started?
How much time do we have?
You can keep going for a while. Yeah.
Let me try to summarize it. I always like to start by saying that I was born and raised in Guatemala, in Central America. Okay. And that really shaped who I am and the work that I do. I got to see the many colors and the many different aristas of my country, which some of them are beautiful and some of them are not. And I got the opportunity to see kind of like these two different worlds, if not more. And so I always knew since I was a teenager that I wanted to do social impact work. So I started studying psychology on the social aspect of it, started working around human rights and mental health in rural communities in Guatemala. And fast forward to later, I've been lucky enough to get to travel to Costa Rica, to Chile, to the Netherlands, to the US and to the Dominican Republic. I'm summarizing like 8 years of my life in terms of where I've worked and where I lived. So it's been always a part of me. And now I get to run this organization called Radical Partners. And what we do is to basically help leaders that run other organizations. But I'll pause there, and that's how I'm here today.
Well, that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit more about Radical Partners and how they help shape some of the nonprofit leaders.
Yes. So let me start with the nerdy definition first, and then I'll give an example so that everybody can relate. So what we say about Radical Partners is that we are a social impact accelerator. And I slow down because the power of those three words is significant, right? We are all about investing in the leaders that are trying to shape their community. We are engaging locals that care about certain issues in their community just to make sure that they vote, that they take out the census, that they know what's happening and how they can shape. Thirdly, we co-create solutions in a faster, bolder way that's typically done in the sector, so that we are iterating and trying and playing to make sure that we're solving for issues creatively. And last but not least, because we work with leaders, engage locals, and co-create solutions, we build coalitions across sectors, across different organizations to make sure that we're not only moving smartly, but that we're doing sustainably in a collaborative way. So what does that mean, Joan, right? Like that's the first question that I get. So to whomever is listening, I encourage you to just take 2 seconds, including you, to think about that friend of yours or that family member of yours that is leading a beautiful project, whether that is feeding the homeless, whether that is supporting people that are surviving cancer, whether that is working towards housing affordability. Like these are the activists that you know that are so giving and so serving, and whether they do it as volunteers or this is their full-time job, these are the people that I want you to have in mind. And then the next question is, who supports them? Who supports this person that's supporting other people? And that's what we do, right? So that friend of yours, that family member of yours that is trying to shape their community and improving the state of the world that they live in, we take care of them. And we take care of them by sometimes holding them and giving them space, but nerdily speaking, we give them the right tools and resources that they need to run this project. So how are they organizing their events? How are they measuring their impact? How are they thinking of growth and expansion and all these things that we're used to here in the business world? The nonprofit sector or the social impact space needs it too to operate effectively and efficiently.
Yeah, every nonprofit is still a business when it comes down to it. Like, it's just how the money is moved instead of it's not profits. It's just moved around the organization into different programs, different spaces. Yeah.
Yes.
So, wow. Okay. That is an amazing space. When did you start working with Radical Partners?
So Radical Partners was founded in 2012 by Rebecca Fishman-Lipsey, and I took over the CEO role in 2020, right in the middle of a beautiful year. So it's been almost 5 years that I've been in this role, but with the organization, I've been here for almost 8 years at this point.
That is amazing. So you build a lot of coalitions, and that is really collaboration at maximum level, I think. So tell us a little bit more about some of these coalition projects that you guys have started to put into the communities.
Yes. Look, collaboration, I think, is in the DNA of Guatemalans. And I am so happy that finally the world is not only using the word, but in the ecosystem, there's a thirst and a need for collaboration. So the best example of collaboration that I can bring to the table is the 10 Days of Connection. Actually, you can read my t-shirt. And it is an initiative that we run once a year. And the idea is, how do we bring locals or regular citizens like you and I to connect across a line of difference? So how do I cross the line of difference of religion? How do I cross the line of politics so that I get to know other folks? And it is a beautiful endeavor that we could definitely not do alone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the 10 Days of Connection happens from May 1st to May 10th. And it is an initiative that is co-hosted by almost 200 organizations that raise their hand and say, I'm a Republican and I want to be a part of this. I'm Muslim and I want to be a part of this. So we bring all these people together, and they are the ones that put up these free events for the community. So Radical Partners is working behind the scenes, doing all of the production and then giving them the resources. They host the events, and then we depend on the regular citizens to show up. So it is not only collaborative in terms of the verb collaboration, but it is a true, I don't want to say hard, but with a lot of effort endeavor of bringing so many different players that think and feel so many different things to one particular agenda.
So that's actually happening here very soon. So what is this year's 10 Day of Connections look like?
Yes. So we're going to be focusing on 3 things for this. As we are recording this, it's February 2025, and there's so many contextual things happening around us. I won't mention any particular things because whomever you are, wherever you are, there's something that might be worrying you, I hope, right? Because that means that you're watching the news. So what we're going to be focusing on in this May is we want to make sure that we are combating that epidemic of loneliness by making sure that whomever is feeling lonely knows that there's possibility and opportunities out there, right? That there's public parks, that there's free events that you can attend, so that being lonely somewhat feels like a choice and not a consequence of the environment, right? So we want to connect people to their communities. Secondly, we want to make sure that these communities are connected to each other and with each other. So we want to unite communities.
Okay.
And last but not least, as we do that, we want to make sure that our communities are safe for you to show up as you are with all of your beautiful colors. So we're going to be focusing a lot on building those safe, accessible, and inclusive spaces for everybody to show up, no matter on what side of the aisle you're in, so that you can show up with curiosity and eager to understand. So go to 10daysofconnection.org. What that looks like is going to look like a massive calendar of events that I can decide to attend. So you will be able to filter by date, by topic, by location, and you can choose your own adventure.
That sounds fantastic. So how many different events are currently scheduled?
So right now, I don't have the exact number. Every year, there's an average between 70 and 100 events happening during those 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's beautiful.
It is.
So where are all of these events happening? Is it a specific area, community, neighborhood?
Yes, and
Yes, I love
so the Miami is basically the base or the headquarters of the 10 Days of Connection. There's significant things happening in Broward as well every year, and now there's random people that say, "Hey, I want to host something in Argentina and I want to host something in Panama," and there's either you are in Miami, Broward, or any of those countries, or if you're elsewhere, there's a lot of virtual events that you can attend. So there's some Zoom panels or virtual conversations. So hopefully accessibility and location won't be an obstacle for anybody.
I love that. Because honestly, that is probably, some people can't leave home. Some people, don't want to leave home, whatever the case may be. And that's still opening up a safe space for them so that they can still attend and still be a part of this.
Yes.
And having a safe space is so important in this day and age. Like, we want to be able to go in with that curiosity, like you mentioned, and really have the opportunity to explore new ideas, explore new ways of like working together and working on things. So this is amazing. Oh my gosh. So what other collaboration stories do you have of like maybe a specific company that you helped in the recent past, or like an individual that just kind of like shaped the community a little bit different?
So to keep the topic going, right, around the 10 Days of Connection, even though our intention is to unite, connect, and build the safer communities, there's a lot of effects of the 10 Days of Connection. For example, people getting a job because of the 10 Days of Connection, right? So randomly at a happy hour, someone came, and when you end up introducing people. So those types of like very specific collaborations happen. But then at the macro level, Radical Partners is involved with several issue areas, right? So right now we're trying to support a zero waste coalition in Miami that their goal is that we don't produce any more waste. And what does that look like? It's not only a matter of how do I consume less, knowing that plastic is so well ingrained in our daily lives. What do we do with the plastic that we used, right? So they're starting to think of innovative approaches of like, can I bring it somewhere? Can they wash it? Can I then reuse it? So that's a beautiful collaboration that's happening. Then there's another one led by Young Musicians Unite and several other organizations that they're working towards making sure that every single kid in Miami-Dade County has access to the arts if they choose to have that.
So important.
Yes. So they're trying to work with the schools to make sure that from pre-K all the way to high school, you have options to access the arts, whether that's theater, music. So that's kind of the things that we do, Chris. We are not the experts in the issues, right? Because we can't know about environment and arts and all these things. We help people shape the collaboration and shape the coalition to make it effective.
So you're more behind the scenes than actually working in on those programs and those coalitions, but you're giving them the tools to make it a reality.
Yes.
Love that.
You know what's a great example? Do you like potlucks?
Yeah.
Me too. I'm a big fan of potlucks, especially if they're international ones, right?
Oh, those are the best.
Yes. But if I tell people like Sunday we're gonna do a potluck,
yes,
you bring whatever you want. We might end up with a lot of smashed potatoes or salad. That's it. So it would be better if I tell you, Chris, we're going to do a potluck on Sunday. I need 5 people that volunteer for protein. I need 5 people to volunteer for the sides. And I need 5 people for dessert, because dessert really matters, right?
It really does.
So you can still do whatever you want. You can still bring it. You can still show us your recipe, your sazon, as we say in Spanish. But I helped orchestrate to make sure that there's going to be a well-balanced meal. And who's bringing the plates? Oftentimes we forget that we need the infrastructure in order to enjoy that meal, right? And that's a lot of the work that we do is like, okay, let us take care of the plates and some of the production so that when we're together, we all have a delicious meal, that on top of the delicious meal, we have a great conversation while we're at it, so that when we're done, we want to do that again and we want to start spreading it. So I think that's the best analogy that I can find in terms of how to do collaboration.
I really like that, because that makes a lot of sense. So when you're actually building this event, you're giving them the foundation, basically. Like, here's the stuff that you need, no matter what organization you are. Yes. If you're a for-profit, nonprofit, whatever it is. And then you're helping just to get this conversation started so that it can actually make movement. Because I think that's a lot of times that's where things get a little messy. Like they don't either have somebody to connect them to the other partner and kind of keep that moving. Oh, that's brilliant. I love this. Awesome. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Visualize. We hope that the inspiration and practical insights can help you foster stronger connections and meaningful change. Don't forget to subscribe, share the episode, and leave us a review. To learn more about Visuals by Momo and how we support collaboration and storytelling, visit visualsbymomo.com. A huge thank you to everyone out there listening. Until next time, remember, collaboration fuels change, and your connections can inspire the world.